Forget learning to code. It's not going to help your kids get a job in 2026. According to Ross Gerber, he just told parents to pull their kids from coding classes. Remember, everybody thought getting a college degree would guarantee you success. And then it was, okay, well, get a degree learning to code. You can always fall back on that if your liberal arts degree doesn't pan out for you. Well, that's going away too. And he's blaming AI. I think there's some other issues going on here. And a lot of kids want to get into coding because they want to break into the video game industry, and the AAA video game industry is collapsing. So it's like, it's not going to take nearly as many people to make games going forward. And let's face it, I think a lot of these studios were like 75% bloat. We'll talk about some of the layoffs. We just had more layoffs today that a whole bunch of people got laid off at EA. Battlefield 6 developers got hit with layoffs, and the game was actually a pretty big hit, I guess. I'm not a huge Battlefield fan. I don't really like FPS shooters. I just don't really care that much for them. But I guess it was a pretty big hit, and they still got laid off. So I don't think there's much of a future here, even if you do learn to code. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to my X. I'm going to give X another shot. I'm basically going to post articles over on X. I have nothing to lose at this point because the whole blogosphere ecosystem has collapsed. So I still want to talk about a lot of stuff I don't get a chance to talk about here on YouTube. So I think I'm going to do it on my personal X account for now and see where it goes. And that would be at Kneon on X. So check it out if you're so inclined. So this was Ross Gerber. He said, forget learn to code. It's not going to help your kids when game devs are losing their jobs in droves. Now, here's the original tweet. And he was actually talking about Riot Games laying off people. And this was a couple days ago, actually. Bad time for computer programmers. Riot Games laying off 25% of staff. I've heard pull your kids from coding class, like learning Latin at this point. Basically a dead language. Put your kids on Claude and chat ASAP. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd trust your kids with Claude. I don't know if I trust anybody with Claude at this point. Byron Briggs says, good time for senior computer programmers. I've been solo on Upwork for years, and this is the best I've ever done. Also, we don't call ourselves that, software engineers. Exactly, AI engineers, etc., but run-of-the-mill programmers are in trouble. Yeah, so this is what I want to talk about quickly, because, a lot of people are talking about the AI apocalypse and how it's going to take everybody's job. I don't think it's going to take everybody's job. It's going to let talented people do more with less. And what'll happen is they'll get rid of 90% of the staff, but the 10% that are left are critical to the company, and they will be given the AI tools to basically multiply themselves. Because AI can't be trusted without oversight. Again, see also Claude. I've been covering that too. Claude, if allowed to run amok, it's absolute chaos. You need somebody to double check the work. You need somebody to point it in the right direction. I think that's always going to be the case, at least for the foreseeable future. But the vast majority of jobs, the grunt jobs, the bloat, that stuff's gone, just like art. The people that are freaking out the most about AI taking their jobs were people who, frankly, weren't talented enough to make it on their own in the first place. They had to be part of a team. A lot of times they're entry level. A lot of times they're not remarkably talented. They're definitely not entrepreneurial. They want to just go get a job somewhere and just park it there and retire. And in the white collar sector, those days are over, man. Like you're gonna have to learn to be a business person. You're gonna have to learn to use tools to make yourself more valuable, and that's what's gonna happen, right? And it's not that you shouldn't learn to code. I think it's that you shouldn't expect a job to be waiting there for you. And this was a lie. Same with journalism. Same with animation. These industries were propped up for years, probably a decade plus, with some of it's USAID money, USAID. I call it USAIDs, USAID money. Some of it's venture capital, but they were never really sustainable, right? These jobs were not real. They weren't a result of the company having profit and they wanted to reinvest the profit into employees. It was, they had mandates. They had to go forward. They had to hire a bunch of people. So you have a whole generation of college grads that think what you do is you just go to college, get out, get your degree, and go park it at some software company or tech company or whatever, and sponge off of the company. And we saw this with Jack Dorsey firing a bunch of people at Square recently. It's going to get bad, guys. I think the best thing you can do, honestly, is have a fallback for your fallback, and just realize that the days of going to work and working until you're, 55, 65, whatever, and getting that watch, those days are over, man. They're over. And it was all, I think, a hallucination to begin with. I don't think it was ever really sustainable, but I think we're going to see kind of a return to everybody having their own farmland to work. That's where I think we're going with this. Because remember, guys, the whole notion of being an employee and working for some company and being one of just many, many people working for a company, that's been a fairly recent thing. It used to be that most people back in the day were owner operators. You ran your own business, whether it's a farm or a shop or, whatever it is. And you might have some employees, but you didn't have these massive factories and stuff like we do now, or tech companies. So I think, again, Darwinism is going to definitely do its thing and probably take a lot of people out that just aren't capable or qualified of doing it on their own. And I'm sorry, but putting your kids in a coding class is not necessarily the way to go. This is coming from Benzinga. Benzinga, pull your kids from coding class. Ross Gerber warns amid gaming industry layoffs. He says it's like learning Latin now. Bad time for computer programmers. We went out and we saw the original tweet. Pull your kids out of coding class. Gerber's point is simple. Basic coding skills may no longer offer the same career security they once did. As AI tools grow more powerful, he believes run-of-the-mill programmers are in trouble. Conversation quickly drew responses from working software engineers. One developer, Byron Briggs, pushed back saying that senior engineers are actually thriving. Good time for senior computer programmers, he wrote. Gerber agreed that higher-level roles may survive, saying AI engineers, etc., will still be valuable. But he doubled down on his warning about mid-level and junior developers. The engineer went further. Mid and junior level SWEs are done for. He said, I can do what would have taken 10 people 6 months in a few hours now. Other white collar will follow. He's not wrong. I know you don't want to hear it because white collar workers, college educated white collar workers thought they were immune to this. They thought they were above it. They used to lord it over people. They lorded it over coal miners. Journalists lorded it over coal miners. You should just learn to code. Well, some of those people are probably still gonna have jobs and you're not. Okay, they're blue collar. If they're not mining coal, they probably know how to do other blue collar work. They'll be fine. Journalists, you will not be fine. That view matches with what some leaders inside major AI labs are saying publicly. For me personally, it's been 100% for 2+ months now. I don't even make small edits by hand. The head of Anthropic's Claude Code, Boris Cherny, recently said on X, I shipped 22 PRs yesterday and the 27 the day before, each one 100% written by Claude. Company-wide, Anthropic says between 70 and 90% of its code is now AI generated. Yeah, Claude's kind of scary, I gotta tell you. Claude is, if any AI is going to go rogue, I think it's going to be Claude. Can you imagine that? How did the human race die out? Claude killed the human race. Claude set off the nukes. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodi said is it Amodi or Amodi? Recently predicted the industry could be 6 to 12 months away from AI handling most software engineering tasks from start to finish. Gerber's comments also fit into a broader debate about how work is changing. AI tools don't eliminate jobs entirely, but change what the job looks like. See also graphic designers. I was there at the transition from like film and paste up to everything going digital, and a lot of people got left behind, but a lot of people found new work because they were willing to learn the tools, right? Instead of typing out every line of code, developers now review, edit, and guide AI systems. That makes higher level thinking more important than syntax. Gerber has also argued that AI tools are currently underpriced. It will not be $20 a month to use AI models for long. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Eventually it's going to be, you need the AI to do your whatever, it's going to be like $1,000 a month. And that's going to be the barrier to entry, right? Once it gets so good that it can replace people, it's worth a hell of a lot more than $20 a month. So that's the truth. The core question remains, if AI can write most of the code, what happens to the traditional entry-level path into software development? In Gerber's view, teaching kids to code today is already outdated. Whether that prediction proves right may depend on how quickly AI moves from assistant to replacement. Now, it's interesting, though, because people go to college for one thing, they get out of school, and the technology's already changed. And, that's one thing you have to be, especially if you're working in any kind of digital field, you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to learn. You're going to constantly be learning. And I ran into this. I was a web developer. I actually started building websites when like nobody else was building websites. I started building websites in like the mid to late 90s. And I taught myself how to hand code very basic websites, but I could name my price. And then as soon as like Dreamweaver and these other tools came along, that was it, man. Like people could make sites a lot cheaper and a lot faster than I could. And I had to find something else and rinse and repeat. This has happened to me on many, many different occasions. So the fact that people are being blindsided by AI, I mean, granted, AI happened a lot faster than I would have expected, but I feel like I'm personally kind of prepared for it, or at least my mindset is prepared for it, because this is my first rodeo. For a lot of people, though, they went to college, they were promised a job in their field, yada, 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 and all of a sudden everything's changed. And white collar workers really, truly thought they were immune to it. People working in the video game industry, because it's so huge, they really thought they were immune to layoffs. And we've seen record layoffs. I mean, it's absolutely insane. 2024, there were 15,000 layoffs. In 2025, there were 9,000 to 10,000 layoffs. And just in 2026 alone, 7,500 layoffs. So over 66% of surveyed AAA studio professionals reported layoffs. Now, this is what's interesting. 70 to 75% of these layoffs occurred in North America and 50% were in California. It's almost like California is incredibly expensive and the employees are incredibly expensive. But I'm hearing is what, like 30% of the video game industry has been laid off, and that's going to continue, right? It's going to take fewer people to make games. The people that will stay in the game, no pun intended, are the higher level employees that do most of the thinking. And this is probably a good thing, I think, overall for the industry, because again, there's a lot of bloat, and a lot of the people that are in the video game industry in these spaces right now are activists. Yeah, they're there because they just want a platform and they want an easy job and an easy paycheck. And it's ending, man. It's ending. So best advice I can give you as an old dog is make sure you're willing to learn new tricks. Keep your resume updated. Do not look at any job as a permanent thing, as a destination. Frankly, the destination is the grave. I mean, that's it. That's where it all goes. You need to keep yourself alive until it's time to nope out of this world. And you're going to go through a lot of different jobs. It's going to be scary. You're going to have to retrain. You might have to retrain in your 40s or 50s. I get it. I've been there. It can be done, right? It can be done. So good luck. But yeah, don't teach your kids. Don't teach your kids how to code, because it's not going to work out for them very well. Ask all these poor Twitter employees how that worked out for them. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.